Does Moses Itauma have a glass jaw? That's a question a lot of boxing fans are asking themselves after some comments made by Billy Nelson over the weekend. He and his charge Martin Bakole were ringside for Itauma's bout with Mike Belogan. And after the fight, they were asked about some recent back and forth they've been having with Itauma. And Billy Nelson told the interviewer to ask Itauma about his chin. He refused to elaborate about what he meant. He just kept saying, ask him about his chin. Obviously inferring that there's something wrong with his chin. That maybe something's happened in sparring or whatever. So does Moses Itauma have a glass jaw? Well, the obvious answer is we don't know. It's something that we're always curious about with any young upcoming fighter, particularly a heavyweight. Now, some people have cited a couple of things which to them are suggestive of Itauma not having a chin. One of them is the fact that his brother, Karol Itauma, who boxes at light heavyweight, doesn't have a chin himself. And the other thing is an alleged knockdown that Itauma suffered in an amateur bout with Alois Jr. Now, with regards to his brother Karol Itauma, there are plenty of examples of boxing brothers where one of them's got a good chin and the other one doesn't. On a recent live stream the other day, I revealed that that's the case with me and my younger brother. I could always take a shot and he couldn't. And we were two completely different weight classes. I was heavyweight, he was light middleweight. But of course the audience aren't privy to the boxing careers of me and my brother. So to give you an example you would know, Vitaly Klitschko and Vladimir Klitschko. Vitaly was known for having a very good chin, and Vladimir, not so much. So I don't see the fact that Karol Itauma doesn't take a great shot as evidence that Moses doesn't take a good shot. And as for the alleged knockdown against Alois Jr. in the amateurs, well, I actually watched the fight. Somebody told me it was on YouTube during my last live stream. I went and watched the fight. Itauma was 14 at the time, and Alois Jr. was 16. And it was a pretty wild scrap, which Itauma ended up winning on points. He really pushed back and kind of bullied Alois Jr. in that fight. There was a moment when Itauma hit the canvas, but he was not ruled a knockdown. He basically got cuffed round the back of the head, and because it was such a wild, scrappy fight, I'm sure you've seen these kind of fights between amateurs, Itauma was swinging and he was off balance and he got like pulled round the back of the head and he briefly touched down and got up straight away. The referee did not rule it a knockdown. So much ado about nothing. Go and have a look at the fight for yourselves. Now, Itauma did admit to being knocked down in the amateurs. He didn't say who against, but he said he did get legitimately knocked down by somebody. But of course, most fighters get knocked down at some point in their careers, either amateur or pro, even the ones with good chins. David Tua got knocked out in the amateurs by Felix Savon, and he went on to have one of the best chins in the heavyweight division. Tua was 17 at the time. Vitaly Klitschko got stopped by Oleg Muskayev in the amateurs. He got knocked out in kickboxing by Pele Reed of all people. That footage surfaced online. Yes, I know it was a kick, but for the longest time, people acted as though Vitaly Klitschko couldn't be knocked out even with a baseball bat. That's how carried away they were getting with his chin. And there have been countless rumors over the years of various heavyweights being dropped in sparring, from Lennox Lewis to, again, Vitaly Klitschko, Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. I mean, who hasn't dropped Anthony Joshua in sparring? Mike Tyson, he was dropped by Oliver McCall and by Greg Page. That one was actually caught on film. It's on YouTube, etc., etc., etc. So being dropped in sparring, particularly at heavyweight, isn't necessarily a big deal. It depends on the nature of the knockdown. And it depends on how many times you're getting knocked down in sparring. And that brings me on to the point I want to make here, because Moses Itauma is a guy who's been drafted in since he was 14 years of age to spar grown men who were top contenders and world champions at cruiserweight and heavyweight. The first time I heard about Moses Itauma was from Shane McGuigan. This is when he was still an amateur. McGuigan did an interview where he was raving about how amazing Itauma was. He said, you've got to see this young kid. He's an unbelievable talent. He revealed that he'd had a 17-year-old Itauma in the gym sparring with Daniel Dubois, going toe-to-toe and holding his own. Remember, Dubois is a top 10 contender at this point. This is after the Joe Joyce fight. Now, McGuigan could not believe how good Itauma was from these spars with Daniel Dubois. Now, if you've been sparring the likes of Joe Joyce, Anthony Joshua, Lawrence Okolie, Daniel Dubois, all big punchers from the age of 14, and he's sparred many others since. If you've been sparring all those guys as a teenager, going toe-to-toe with some of them like Dubois, you can't go out in the rain and not get wet. He's bound to have been hit hard by those guys, yet they kept calling him back in for sparring. If his chin was no good, would that really have happened? Would this teenager be any use to them if he couldn't take a shot? That's what I'm wondering. And so I suspect that Itauma actually can take a decent shot. I'm not here predicting that he's got an iron jaw. Don't misquote me. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. But I'm making a logical deduction based upon the fact that even as a young 14-year-old boy, grown men, top contenders, and world champions at cruiserweight and heavyweight kept bringing this guy back to spar with them. Shane McGuigan saying he's going toe-to-toe with Dubois in the gym. You really think a guy like Daniel Dubois is going to hold back? Dubois got no decorum in a boxing ring. He probably put an old woman in there and he'd try and knock him out. He probably put an old woman in there and he'll try and knock him out. I don't think Dubois really understands what's appropriate and inappropriate, you know? But anyway, different story. So yeah, my suspicion is that Itauma actually does take a pretty good shot based upon the things I've just outlined. But ultimately, as I said in the start, we won't know until we actually see him get hit with a big shot on the chin in the small gloves. Not the big 18, 20-ounce gloves that they wear in the gym and the headgear. No, in the ring, under the bright lights, little 10-ounce gloves. Then we'll see what's really good. Then we'll see whether there's a problem or not. And again, just in closing, if Itauma does have a weak chin, he surely will have found out by now himself, having done all those rounds with grown men when he was just a teenage boy. But if you look at the way Itauma fights, he doesn't fight scared, does he? He doesn't fight like someone who's desperately afraid of getting hit. Don't get it twisted, he's not reckless, but he's very comfortable letting his hands go. And it isn't just now, but even if you watch some of his amateur bouts when he was fighting in those international tournaments, he was letting his hands go. So if he can't take a shot, it doesn't seem to deter him. In fact, on a recent live stream, I was asked about what a fighter can do if they have a glass jaw. Some people were joking that the fighter should retire, but my answer is, well, if you've got enough talent to compensate for it, then it's not the end of the world. There have been plenty of great fighters that didn't have the best chin. Tommy Hearns was one of them, but he compensated for that by having tremendous punching power, good boxing skills, long reach, great jab, ring IQ. I've already spoken about Vladimir Klitschko. Terry Norris was another one. His chin was suspect. Yeah, he was a very good, very accomplished fighter who had a great career. So, yeah, it's not the end of the world if you do have a glass jaw, as long as your other attributes can make up for it. So, anyway, give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android, because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.